Morning everyone. It's raining outside, so I'm not going out there, and it's not often I wear this colour. So today I'm wearing brown. Now the reason I'm wearing brown is because last week I did a video about one of my clients who had convinced themselves that something they thought was green was actually red. And I said at the end of it that there was one story I wanted to tell you about someone who thought that something they were doing was green was actually brown. So this is where we talk about it. So remember, 3 green behaviours: thinking, communicating and improving. Those are the things, if you have them in your diary in the right amount, will take your business, your people and you upwards, make you better. Versus the amber behaviours: monitoring and directing. Those are the things that will maintain status quo, keep things where they are or manage risk. Then there's red, doing, and then there's brown, floating. And those are the things that if you have them in your diary too much, will take your business, your people and you backwards, make you worse. So another client I've spoken to, this one was actually about the diary detox. We were talking and they mentioned that they were struggling to find time to do certain things. And one of the questions I generally ask people about this is I say, okay, so what colour is your diary right now? Because you're always looking for things that you can cut out. And so if they said, oh, there's quite a lot of brown, there's quite a lot of red, we can have a conversation about how to cut that brown out or how to find strategies to remove the red. But interestingly, this person said that their diary was actually quite green. And this is a brilliant one for me because I love hearing that. Not because I want people's diaries to be green, although I do. It's because people very, very rarely kid themselves that brown behaviour isn't brown behaviour. And they very rarely kid themselves that red behaviour isn't red behaviour. It's when they start talking about the amber and the green. That's the time when people go, oh yeah, that's amber or that's green. And actually, when you talk through it with them, they often find it isn't. And so I kind of like that, bringing that extra realization to them. So this person spoke about something they've been doing for a while, and I had a different opinion. From what they were saying, it didn't sound like it was a green behavior. So I wanted to question them on it. And so I said, okay, so tell me about this thing. Is this something that's was it really making your business better? And they said, yeah, it's bringing in new clients. And I said, well, yeah, a lot of the stuff that we do in business is there to bring in new clients, but is it bringing in more clients than you would normally anticipate, or is this just part of your process for bringing in new clients, a plan that you've had and a strategy that you've put in place to bring them in? And they said the latter. I said, okay, so if that's the case, does that sound like it's green? Does that sound like it's improving where you were going to be going? And they said, well, no, it's just getting me to where I wanted to go. And I went, okay, that's interesting. So based on that then, what colour does it actually sound like? And they said, well, I suppose it's red. It's just doing what I do. It's part of what I do to bring in business. I said, okay, that's interesting. And I would have probably left it there if it weren't for the last 7 words they said. Because as soon as they said that, I was almost at a point where I thought, well, I'll leave them to that. I'll let them just process that and decide what they want to do with it. And then they said, yeah, it's a complete waste of my time. And I said, sorry, say that again? And they said, yeah, it's a complete waste of my time. I said, so you believe that if that thing that you do, you weren't to do it, you honestly believe it would make no difference whatsoever? And they said, yeah. And I said, does that sound like red? And they stopped for a while, and then eventually they realised it, and they said, that's not floating, is it? I said, well, floating is you're not adding value, or you're not sure what value you're adding. So you choose. And at that point, they realised that this thing that they'd been categorising as green, I think they called it communicating. So they felt that they were they were sharing new information or ideas within or outside their company. And whilst that may have been the case, I think the overriding perception was that those ideas they were sharing weren't worth sharing, and actually who they were sharing them with, it wasn't necessarily giving them as much value as they thought. So at that point, that green thing turned out in their mind to be brown. And I believe they have now made steps to not do it anymore. So be really careful. The diary detox categories are really powerful, but don't take them for granted. Don't skip over them. Don't just select one because you think, oh, it must be that because I'm talking to people. Or just because you're going out and thinking about stuff, you think it might be thinking. Look at the description. I'll put another post to the link of the descriptions on LinkedIn in the comments here. Be really careful. Go through them, look at the description, look at the name, look at the description. And if this description matches the majority of the time you're spending on that thing, that's the thing you're doing. And in this person's case, it wasn't green, it was brown. That's it. It's a bit of a longer one, but I think it's a really important story to tell. In the meantime, have a great day. Have a great week.